Christophe Choo from Co-Banker Global Luxury Real Estate in Beverly Hills. I'm moving spaces. I'm moving from my beautiful penthouse office down to the main suite at our office here in Beverly Hills. And Dr. Roger West, who's been a friend and consultant for me for over 20 years, he is a Feng Shui master and expert. He's been doing this since 1990, right? 33 years. So every year or so I have him come in, check out my office, the Feng Shui, and any one of you that's been here to my office, you walk in, you all say the same thing. It feels so good in here. It feels so comfortable and I feel relaxed. That's the point. When clients come to the office in a stressful deal with real estate, they want a relaxing environment. So Dr. West came today to check some things out, and I want to have him share, first of all, what is Feng Shui in particular for an office or for a home. A lot of people may not know what Feng Shui really is.
Yeah, well, a lot of times people will translate that and it really means nothing. Wind, water.
Wind, water, fire, earth, yes.
So, but one way that people seem to relate to it is to think about your space as having its own energy, just like your body has its own energy. So think about how acupuncture works. On seemingly unrelated points on the body can cause certain energetic changes in your health. So think about Feng Shui kind of like acupuncture for your space.
Makes sense.
And in that way...
I like that, acupuncture for your space.
In that way, you can adjust with using natural elements like plants or water or metal. You can adjust kind of the energetic elements or potentials of the place. So Feng Shui is all about potential. So things aren't necessarily always going to manifest unless they're triggered. And that can be triggered also by the wrong element in a certain space. So knowing where to put the water, can make a big difference on how effective that water is for you. Because water, people think, oh, you put water in, it brings money. It can also bring negative effects and even loss of money if it's in the wrong spot.
Right. So Dr. West, I've known him for a very long time. He's Feng Shui'd our home many times, my offices, and when I moved up from downstairs to this penthouse, I had a choice of 5 or 6 offices. I picked one that I felt comfortable with, that I felt was right for me. Dr. West came in, he looked with me, says, that's the one for you too. And then once I did pick the space, then he did his magic in terms of like how to make it as prosperous as possible from every direction. And and when I was first introduced to Feng Shui many years ago, I thought, what is this stuff? Well, first of all, how many years old is Feng Shui? 5,000 years old? Longer? And I thought to myself, this is how I always think. I'm like, what does it hurt other than your pocketbook? So I thought, it's not cheap to do it, but I spend the money because I feel the value in it. People feel comfortable here. Look, I'm in my office half the day, so I want to feel comfortable too. So from sharing that thought, what's your perspective on what I just said about that, about the space and the importance of Feng Shui?
Yes, I think you nailed it. People do feel the difference.
Yes.
I mean, I have my own office and people say the same thing when they come to my office. Say, oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's what they say. I don't know what it is, but I feel comfortable here. Yeah.
So a lot of times we have those types of sayings in our own vernacular that we don't really attribute to Feng Shui. Like this place gives me the
wim-whams or the heebie-jeebies.
It's like the vibe is off.
Right.
So we all have this innate sense.
Yes.
And sometimes we ignore it, or if you think about it, maybe that's nature telling us something.
Yes. And with Feng Shui, one thing that I learned was interesting is they look at the year the building was built, right? That's one factor, or the cycle, right?
Yes.
And then you look at the birth date of the person that's in the space, right?
Yeah, and the orientation in the Earth's magnetic field of the building.
Oh, the door. Talk about that, the door location and where it's facing, that's so important.
Right. Well, just like people, we all have a front and a back.
Yes.
And so does the space. So typically the front of a space, we call it facing, is typically the more yang side. In this particular office, you have this whole wall as window.
Right.
So a lot of light comes in. This is more yang. If you have a space, however, say a doorway on a busy hallway, but there's no window, then we would probably consider that as the most yang location.
Yang and yang.
Yeah. Okay. So yin is the sitting part, the back. Just like your chair is comfortable here, and yang is what your view is, what your face.
Got it.
So every structure has a facing and a sitting side. So based on the facing and the sitting, that gives us an orientation every 15 degrees on the compass. And then when the building is built, it seals that ground so the sun
Right.
can't hit it any longer.
Right.
Once it seals that ground, it's in that cycle.
Right.
So it becomes that cycle.
Yeah.
And there are 9 cycles.
If I remember correctly, if you put a new roof on the house, right, that changes the cycle.
It can if the sunlight
If it's open
hits-
completely.
Yeah, if the sunlight hits the foundation.
Right, so if they just take the roofing off, but the
The
wood is
inside
there,
ceiling is still
it's
there.
the same.
No, that doesn't change it bit.
It's
So
so
changing,
interesting.
they often call it the heavenly heart. So to change the heavenly heart is difficult.
Got it, got it. Isn't that fascinating? I think so. Anyways, I'm so glad Roger's here today, Dr. West,
Yeah, I'm
to
glad
help me
you're
with Feng
invited.
Shui. If any of you ever want to have a Feng Shui expert here in Southern California, he's your guy. And right now we're going to go into the deep dive of my office, which is private, because we have to talk about what we have to do. And just wanted to share with you Dr. West and our new space and the importance of Feng Shui. I believe it. It's been around for thousands of years, and you can't fault what's right.
Thank you.